The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, this week the John Key-led government will set down another chapter in the plan to balance the books in a timely way and to grow the New Zealand economy for a better future for our country. And we know now that the Leader of the Opposition, on the day before the budget, is so not on top of his game that there was not one idea from Mr. Shearer as to how we could grow the economy, and not one idea from Mr. Shearer as how we could balance the budget. And Mr. Speaker, I have an interesting challenge for members opposite. It's easy enough to talk about balancing the budget, as one David might say, but the other David actually has to say how they would do it. Because over the recess, all we have heard from Labor members is how to spend more and how to stop growth. Let me just recite a few of the commentaries from members of the opposition on their plan to address the economic problems of New Zealand. We had Labor come out and say why they oppose gas, petroleum and mining exploration. And they can whinge all they like about jobs in Australia. Why is it that they oppose every initiative by members on this side of the House to grow petroleum, to grow minerals? We had an even more dopey idea from the opposition over the recess. They want to grow the economy by freezing the number of dairy cows. Freezing the number of dairy cows. Can some member opposite explain to me how do you grow the economy when the most important growing industry this country has to earn export industries is going to grow by capping the number of cows? I asked the library, if you cap the number of cows over the last decade, what would that mean for jobs and exports? It would mean $8 billion less in exports, and it would mean 5,000 fewer jobs. And you know what else happened over the recess, Mr. Speaker? Well, submissions were made public on King Salmon's proposals to grow the aquaculture industry. This government's got a plan to grow that industry up to $1 billion industry, to employ another 8,000 people. And you know what the opposition said? On every single application for new marine space, the opposition said no, no growth. So, Mr. Shearer, I say to you, where's the growth coming from when every opposition commentary over the recess was to stop aquaculture growth, stop marine development in terms of resources, to stop the growth of the dairy industry? And what about the different views of the Davids? Mr. David Parker says that they're going to balance the budget by 2014-15. What a pity he didn't talk to Mr. Cunliffe, because Mr. Cunliffe has said they need to take a stimulus approach, that we should borrow more. And what's more, I hear every member of the Labor opposition promising more spending. We've had them promising more for housing, more for police. We've got the broadcasting spokesperson promising another $25 million for TV7. Well, I've got a simple message for members opposite. And I say to Mr. Little, it's easy to say you're going to grow the economy, but you have to walk the talk. It's easy to say you're going to balance the budget. You have to walk the talk. And the difference between members on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, and members opposite is there is a credible plan to balance the budget. There's a credible plan to grow the economy. And over there on Planet Labor, they are disconnected. Well, I asked Mr. Little, how does more holidays, how does more paid parental leave balance the budget or grow the economy? Because that's what Mr. Little has been talking about over the recess. The hope for New Zealand is with the John Key-led government and the next chapter in our story of how we budget in a reasonable time frame, how we grow the economy, and I just challenge members opposite. Can the three Davids start reading from the same book?
Order. Before I call the next member, I didn't want to interrupt the Honourable Dr. Nick Smith, but the level of interjection there was getting quite unreasonable. And I've got to say to Andrew Little towards the back of the House there, just sustained jabbing and yelling across the House is not becoming of any member in this place. And I think the House should just behave with a little more dignity. Point of order, the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Speaker, I seek leave to table the results of a professional opinion poll survey of the 18th of the 5th of this year, showing 80%...
Order. Before the member says what it shows, I want to know the source of the document.
Fairfax, showing 87% of Cantabrians think the government should do more for them in the earthquake.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is objection. Eugenie Sage.
Tanako, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we had a Green-led government, we would have a very different